It's creepy season and we're continuing with the series That Frightening Fantasy Chick. This year we're focusing on creepy TV shows. What all of these shows have in common is the dual world effect. In each show there is the regular world as normal people would see it. Then there is a separate supernatural world that the main character and their friends know and interact with. It is also up to the main characters to fight the evil forces that reside in the supernatural world. And sometimes there are world-ending consequences. Today's show is Stranger Things. So Stranger Things not only has the supernatural world, but also a nostalgia factor. It's set in the 80s and the show is filled with 80s nostalgia. Before Stranger Things, there was Super 8, a film by J.J. Abrams that was set in 1979, so right on the cusp of the 80s. It followed a bunch of kids shooting a movie on their Super 8 film camera and also discovering alien invasion in their small town. The film was produced by Steven Spielberg and it had the same type of feel as his E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It was wholesome yet creepy. And at the time, people loved it because of how reminiscent it was of those early Steven Spielberg movies. Well, a few years later came Stranger Things, and it was reminiscent of the work of another Stephen King. It was set in the 80s, followed a bunch of young outcasts, had the resident bullies, and also had a very creepy undertone that something sinister was going on, especially when one of the outcasts go missing. I think one of the things that made the first season of Stranger Things feel so authentic was that it had the same air of stranger danger from that time period. Will was missing and was definitely abducted, and no one had any idea who had him or where he could be. Now, I've watched more Stephen King movies than read books, but the movies that come to mind when I think of Stranger Things are It and Stand By Me. Although Stand By Me wasn't creepy like your normal Stephen King story, it did have your young outcasts and your resident bullies. It had the same kids versus supernatural entity. And after reading The Shining, I feel like that kind of brings to mind Eleven and her journey. Since The Shining really centered around the son and his psychic abilities, which is something I did not get from watching the movie. But each season of Stranger Things features something that was really popular in the 80s, like D&D, the Ghostbusters, skating rinks, the mall, parents not knowing where their children are or what they're doing.
Absolutely not. Our son with a girl? I mean, believe me, if he had a girl sleeping in this house, we'd know about it. Wouldn't we?
And just like Super 8, it is up to the kids to save their friends and family from a sinister and powerful villain. With Super 8, it was aliens. With Stranger Things, it's supernatural beings from a parallel world called the Upside Down. I haven't played Dungeons & Dragons before, but I do believe that they take the name of the world and beings from things that do appear in D&D, which makes it one of a few properties to successfully incorporate D&D into their stories. There's Stranger Things, then on a lesser note, Freaks and Geeks. And then one of the actors from Freaks and Geeks who played D&D on the show would go on to co-write and co-direct Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, a full circle moment. Of course, the kids aren't the only ones fighting the supernatural beings now. A select group of adults have joined, but the kids still run the show, especially since the person designated to fight the beings is a kid, 11. It was she that opened the portal to the parallel world, and it is up to her to fight the being in control of it. Next season will be the final season, and it will be interesting to see if they have time to incorporate more nostalgia factors or if they just go full tilt into the final fight. How many of you were even alive in the 80s? Do you like the creepy nostalgia of Stranger Things? Or do you think it's just a really cool show? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if there's anything you would like to see me talk about. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to know the next time I upload or go live.